All right, you can't improve unless you know what to improve on. Everyone wants to get better, but better at what? So this kind of questions of figuring out what to get better on kind of sparked the whole idea of this video, which are 3 ways to identify your weaknesses. And once you kind of identify those, you can begin to work on them and improve. So this whole idea got brought up because I was just at a men's retreat and the pastor was talking about how understanding your flaws can help save your marriage. Just from like a little book and stuff. And at first I'm like, well, this doesn't really apply to me. I'm not married yet. Then I was like, whoa. This applies to everything. If you figure out what your flaws are, you can know what to work on. My little inner self-improvement, got real excited. Like, man, this is awesome. By figuring out what your cracks are in the foundation, you can fix them to make a stronger foundation. Like, what's the point of getting better if you don't know what you're trying to get better at or fix the weaknesses that you have? A lot of us think we are self-aware, myself included, think, oh yeah, I generally know what I'm good at, what I need to improve. But really, we're just kind of comfortable with ourselves and how we are, and we don't really know what our weaknesses are. So in this video, I'll be breaking down 3 ways to figure out what your weaknesses are so you can improve on them. Let's get started. All right, the first way is to ask your AI of choice. And this might seem a little strange to you, but let me explain. If you have some sort of master prompt, which I highly recommend you do, and if you don't know what that is, I think I made a video about it, but pretty much a master prompt is pretty much just a ton of information about you, what your goals are, what you're working on, what you're struggling with. It's just a ton of information about you, like a little file that AI can look at and understand you a lot better. So if you're asking like a question, like if you're just asking for general questions on AI, don't upload your master prompt. But if it's something that pertains to you, like what do you think I should do in this situation? What my weaknesses are, that'd be a good one. Oh, maybe that's why it's in the video. Anyway, just uploading your master prompt will give it a lot more insight and help you answer. I mean, if you just ask it, what are my weaknesses? Then it's not going to know much. It's just going to be like an outsider looking into your life with like literally no background information. So it's not going to provide very much value. The pros to AI is, one, I mean, you can do it like right now, instant. You can also use it to give pretty harsh feedback. You just gotta make sure, because AI is generally pretty positive. That's how it's programmed to be. You just gotta tell it to be critical and harsh and just give you the brutal, honest, like what you need to work on. I think telling AI to use that frame is a lot better, especially when you're asking it any sort of advice, because it always tries to sugarcoat things pretty much. It's just how it's programmed, so it's, doesn't offend the whatever the user is, but you want to be offended because you need, if nothing changes, nothing changes. Kind of the cons to AI is, like I said, unless you upload a master prompt, which takes some time, like when I did mine, and it's not perfect. It probably took like 2 hours. It's answering a ton of questions, just about me, about, just everything. And if you don't do that, then it's not going to give you very good advice. One other pro I forgot to mention about AI is its capabilities to help you take that next step. It can help you not only figure out what your weaknesses are, you can ask it, give me an action plan for how to start working on this in the next month or something like that, how to overcome this. If you're just talking to someone else, reflecting your own, you might understand what your weaknesses are, but you might not know where to start. So I think being able to create an action plan is where AI sticks out the most and can be the most helpful. All right, the second way to figure out what your weaknesses are, and probably the one I use the most, is to reflect and write it down in your journal. Anytime there's something that frustrates you or you get confused, you don't like something, write it down in your journal. You can look back and see, oh yeah, I was always frustrated that this one friend or something like that was getting better results than me. You could be like, oh, one of my weaknesses, I had to judge the issue, and that's just an example. But just also you can do that and look back over several years or weeks, months, whatever. Or you can literally I can sit down, open my journal, just think about what my weaknesses are and just reflect on it. And that's pretty good because I can be pretty honest with myself. That's something I think I can do very well. So it helps me to just be honest. And it's also just like in your journal, like no one else is going to read that. So I think it's really good. The only danger to this really is though, you can become accustomed to your own flaws. So you don't really think it's a flaw. You reflect, oh, what are my areas I need to work on, and it might not jump out to you the way some other people might jump out to. That leads us right into the third way to figure out what your weaknesses are, is to ask friends and family members. Why I say and, because I think both are important. Friends, because they give you close, like they know you, but also more of an outside perspective of you, like how you interact in the public when you're probably a little bit more on your best behavior, and they're also more a little bit outside and know about you context, not like AI sometimes where it knows nothing, but they have some context on you, they've interacted with you, and they can look at you and see, oh, this is maybe something you need to work on, something that you can improve. And family is because you rub a lot with your family. They know all your weaknesses. It's just because it's hard to hide them when you're living with someone, for so many years. So they can know your weaknesses. The hard thing about family, though, is one, sometimes, like I mentioned earlier, is that the whole family might share the same weakness, and that whole flaw just comes, it just seems normal. So they can't really stand it out. I think that's why having friends or someone else to tell you, someone outside, can be important and useful. but also with your family. And it can be like a little hard to ask, like just sitting down with like your dad or someone, just be like, tell me what my weaknesses. For some people that can be hard. I have a pretty good relationship with my family, so I feel like I could do that, but not for everyone. All right, so hopefully you paid attention. You remember those 3 ways. There'll be a pop quiz at the end of the video. But anyway, with those 3 ways, just pick one thing you're gonna do, whatever those 3 are. Ask AI, journal, or talk to family, friends about it. Figure out weakness, just one. Just pick one weakness, and if they say, oh, you have no weaknesses, then you need to tell them to be more honest with you, because you definitely have something. So pick one weakness that they say, or you find out in chat or reflection, anything like that, and work on it. This is the hardest part, actually doing something, just reflecting and figuring out, talking to people, what are my weaknesses. Anyone can do that, but actually, figuring out what to do next and doing it. Or say also, if you figure out what your weaknesses are through reflection or talking to a family or a friend, you can then use AI later to tell them the situation, and then maybe once it's been revealed to you what your weakness is, you might know more about it, so you can give AI that information, like, oh yeah, I remember when I did this situation, or I typically act this way, and then AI can give you kind of a response back of how to improve and get better. So yeah, just pick one weakness and do one thing to start improving, make it better. All right, with that, if you enjoyed this video and you want more practical self-improvement advice, please like and subscribe. And with that, keep being great and remember to be grateful. Peace out.